and I'm confident about the story still over the long term. So most of my assets are still India based. And I think that that's the best way to grow assets here. You're linked to what's happening in the economic growth in India. And where I land up in the long term will be also linked to that. So I have most of my assets, most of the assets here because I expect my long term liabilities to be here as well. Um, but if I expect, but I have a small amount in offshore markets as well, US plus some Asia, all of that. Um, if it is the other way around, if you intend to settle as more a global citizen, then US, or you then actually want a bit more of a diversified global kind of a portfolio, where definitely US is playing a part. India is still, I think, something which, if you look at the global markets, India is a very, very, very small fraction of it. I'd put up the sizes of the Indian market compared to that of the global. It's still very, very small on a free float basis, maybe just 1 to 2%. So if you were to take a diversified global kind of a picture, India would be just 1 to 2%. But in terms of the long-term stories, there are not too many such stories which are there in the world. So it should definitely be higher than that. Long-winded answer, but in terms of planning percentage of investments, some of these portfolio allocation decisions I think are best planned by you and your advisor. Rather than, I can't give a generic answer for that, unfortunately, but these are the principles which you should consider while
Correct.
you decide that.
Yeah. So, Mr. Business House has asked, to maximize the profit, is it essential to, continually, do a profit booking? So when we are doing an SIP, is it a time frame where you look at, booking the profit? What he's trying to mention in the long run, if you want to generate a return, is it essential to do a profit booking? Yeah.
So, it's ideally it is a good thing to do, but unfortunately, I tell you where the problem stands. And I've seen this happen. Actually, I've done it also in early days. I see markets going up, and I book the profit, and I am very happy by it. I made the money. My mistake has always been that I've never known when to get on after that, because the thing is that once you get off, you are now wedded to that side. You're now basically a bit short on I mean, you're betting against the market, and you will ignore everything in terms of getting back into the market. And the markets tend to look a bit ahead. They tend to beat everybody's expectation. Look at what happened in COVID, right? I mean, in April of 2020, if I don't think anybody would have said that, yeah, this is a great time to put money, because the world looked like it was coming to an end. And that was the bottom. That was in hindsight. Only in hindsight we knew that it was the bottom. So you could have timed it, looked at what's happening in February, and said COVID is going to destroy the world, and you sold all your investments. But I doubt very much that you would have gotten back in April, and neither in May, nor in June, nor in July, because you're sure the next year. I mean, you look at what's happening. You would have been skeptical right as the market kept going up. That is the problem. That tends to be the problem if you try to time too much, or so I mean, if you want to do a bit of profit booking for intellectually being like, yeah, I want to intellectually, I want to have a bit of my portfolio, and I sometimes agree that a bit of a portfolio you want to do some of this timing to keep yourself intellectually engaged. Yeah, that's fine, but I would not do that with the entire portfolio. The bulk of it, the heart of it, I mean, most of it should be on a consistent plan, which is aiming at the long term. It's not looking at near-term things which are happening in the markets. It's very hard to do market timing. It's very, very hard.
Yeah, correct. Is there a way where our NRI customers can invest through Franklin to a global market, participate in global market?
So, as we stand in Indian markets, from the Indian markets, we have a couple of funds which are playing into the US markets. One is the Franklin India Feeder Fund, which is going into US. It's a US Opportunities Fund. It's an actively managed fund. It has a 25-year track record. It's based out of it's a growth-oriented fund, so it's investing in all your growth opportunities, which are your FANG plus a lot more. So it's got maybe a 55 to 60% exposure to technology. But the remaining 40% is also in very, technology savvy kind of companies. So pharma and some industrial names which are very technologically advanced. So that's one of the funds which we have. The second is a fund called the Asian Equity Fund, which is catering to the Asian side. So there we have about 35 to 37% in India. There's a bit of an overlap there. But the remaining 65%, 65% is in markets like China, which is about 31%. And you have Taiwan, you have South Korea, you have Philippines, all these other markets as well in the Asian side, which are doing very well, which are very it's a diversified fund. It's done pretty well in the last year after the Chinese markets have picked up. So that's the second one which we can speak about. Gift City is something which I'll flag right now. It's we have created the entity. We have not yet we've not yet put out the outbound funds from India, but that is something which is in the works. Hopefully, in the next, let's say, 3 to 6 months, we will have products which are feeding into our global range of products. So we have $1.6 trillion of global assets under management, and of course, so that's a lot of funds which we can look to invest in from India, and we are looking forward to getting those and making those available for the Indian investors here as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Tejas, do we have any other question?
Thank you, sir.
No.
And I think,
All right.
yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Hari, for taking out time and sharing your experience and insights about market with our client and our team. I really appreciate and I thank Franklin for sharing all the time and data with us. And thank you so much once again for your valuable insight and time.
Thanks. Great to be here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hari.
Okay.